Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Sharon Florentine. Welcome to today's DevOps.com webinar, Overcome Single Customer View Challenges. We have an awesome webinar for you today, but before we get started, I need to go through some housekeeping items with you. First, please remember that this session is being recorded, so if you miss any or all of it, you'll be able to go back and watch it again. We will be sending you an email with instructions for accessing the webinar on demand, or you can always visit us at devops.com/webinars. It will be there for you as well. We will be taking questions throughout the presentation. So if you've got questions, go ahead and use the Q&A tab on your console to submit those at any time, and we will get to as many as possible after the presentation. We are going to have a poll question for you today, so keep an eye out. We'd appreciate it when you see that pop up on your screen, if you could take a couple seconds and give us your response. Finally, stick around till the end because we're doing a drawing for 4 $25 Amazon gift cards. All right, with that, I am pleased to introduce to you today David Schexnayder. He's a Schexnayder. My apologies for mispronouncing that. He's a principal partner solutions architect with Couchbase, and Jacob Gay, senior solution architect with Red Hat. With that, I'm going to turn my camera and my mic off and let you gentlemen take it away.
Thank you very much. So for those of you who are not familiar with Couchbase, Couchbase is a modern, highly scalable NoSQL database that can be deployed on-prem, in private and public clouds, on OpenShift or Kubernetes with our autonomous operator, and at the edge. So at its core, Couchbase is a shared nothing distributed data store with key value, JSON document, and now relational data models. In addition to the core data services, we have SQL for JSON, which we refer to as N1QL or NQL, full text search, real-time analytics, event triggers, and a full stack mobile solution. So, what makes Couchbase different from other modern databases? Well, there are 3 key areas where we win with our customers. Unmatched agility and flexibility. Teams can enhance application development agility by capitalizing on our declarative query language, full text search, and adaptive indexing capabilities, plus seamless data mobility. Unparalleled performance at scale. Couchbase can handle any volume, volatility, or speed of data, any number of data sources, and any number of end users with an in-memory dataset process, smart optimization, and highly performant indexing. It's the easiest platform to manage. With our Kubernetes Autonomous Operator, teams can streamline configuration and setup, take advantage of multi-cloud agility, and help assure availability with 5 nines reliability. So some of the advantages of Couchbase, for developers, it's familiar. We have SQL for JSON, including joins. Dependable, we support ACID transactions. Programmable, we have user-defined functions, change data capture, and 10 software development kits for access. It's flexible. We use JSON. JSON allows developers to control schema and data. Fast, it's an all in-memory design. Converged elegance, multi-service, multi-model, document, key value, relational, search, analytics, query, indexing, backup, and data control services. We're distributed over mobile, geographic, and at the edge. So for architects, multimodal services improve time to market. Strength and dependable. Once again, we support ACID transactions. It's structured, multi-level logical data organization. And cloud native with our autonomous operator. We have a mature support for Kubernetes and OpenShift, and we have cloud, mobile, and edge deployment support. So for DevOps, with self-managed deployments, experienced DevOps teams can manage their cloud apps and databases themselves, offering a very high degree of control. Or we have fully managed deployments, for convenience and cost containment. Many prefer a fully managed database as a service to allow smaller teams to be agile in delivery while reducing operational costs. So a bit more about Couchbase's flexible JSON schema. You can store your data in multiple ways, such as denormalized single document or normalized documents with references. Being flexible, you can add new values as needed. We also have support for binary values. You can access your data in multiple ways: direct key value access, SQL querying, full text search, MPP style analytics, and using event-based triggers to perform functions based on changes in your data. So multi-dimensional scaling, it's the architecture that enables independent scaling of core Couchbase services, such as data, query, and index, to provide the best computational capacity per service. Each service can be scaled vertically or horizontally to provide a consistent, highly performant experience to your end users. When running on Kubernetes or OpenShift, Couchbase servers are defined as separate server pods. Couchbase services can be easily scaled manually or automatically based on predefined monitoring thresholds. So let's talk about some of the customer pain points that we're seeing. Customers come to us for a number of different reasons, but the first set of pains is traditionally online activity spikes that are exposing performance and/or cost of operation issues. For customers, the performance of their existing systems is getting overloaded, like on Black Friday, or like when the pandemic hit and everybody went home and online. That caused performance pains of existing applications. That's a perfectly valid situation for Couchbase to come in and help them by offering a caching solution to stabilize their backend environment, as well as to offer distributed scaling capabilities that we have. The other one is cost of operation benefits of the consumption-based pricing models typically available in cloud infrastructures. The second area of pain that we see very regularly is that an inflexible architecture is causing roadblocks to innovation. This means that those systems are so inflexible that a customer organization cannot pivot or change their applications in an effective way to address new market needs. In order to keep up and in order to keep their customers happy, they need to create more personalized experiences for their customers across a number of different use cases. All of those are some of the key drivers or pain points that we help address when you look at our technology and the kind of solutions we offer. Many times our customers begin using Couchbase as a simple caching solution for existing systems, but over time, Couchbase becomes their source of truth and finally the system of record. So we start at the bottom with the Couchbase data platform, appealing to architects and developers. Across the top, we have all of our verticals where we can showcase the industries that we're serving. And the same principle pretty much holds true across multiple vertical industries. For example, with travel and hospitality, interactions may include searching for a flight or a hotel room, comparing deals, and personalizing your experience. The transaction is completing your purchase and pay. So for e-commerce, interactions include browsing the product catalog, personalizing your recommendations, and giving you rewards. Once again, the transaction is completing your purchase and paying. For digital media, interactions may include permission and access control, browsing content, and personalizing content. The transaction is streaming the video. And for financial services, interactions may include searching your transactions, protecting you against fraud, delivering credit reports, or possibly cross-selling mortgage or insurance, etc. The transaction is moving money from A to B. So, how do we link the top and the bottom together? All of this in the middle are systems of engagement. So what are these systems of engagement? They're built as web, mobile, and IoT applications. Those applications are categorized into the 4 solutions we've solidified on, and they're separate enough that we have to draw distinctions between them. Catalog and inventory is everything that goes into content, product, and media catalogs. Performance and flexibilities here are key. Field service refers to applications that are deployed out in the real world, many times when network connectivity is either limited or non-existent. IoT data management is all about managing devices and the data that they're capturing. And finally, today's topic, Customer 360. It's all about aggregating data from multiple silos into a single layer. Finally, Couchbase is used in 3 main ways to underpin all of these applications, sliding along a spectrum of caching to source of truth, all the way to system of record. So a Customer 360 solution is all about delivering consistent, personalized experience across all channels. Capturing all of your customer interactions to build a single view of that customer is challenging, especially for legacy technologies. The Couchbase data platform gives you the flexibility to aggregate all forms of data, delivering a single omnichannel view and giving both customers and customer-facing employees fast access for a seamless and more personalized experience. So let's look at some of the challenges that enterprises face when implementing a Customer 360 solution. Partial customer views. With access to only a subset of customer data, you really can't deliver a consistent experience across all channels. With Couchbase, we can deliver an omnichannel views by easily integrating multiple data sources, data sets, and applications. You can capture the data involved at each digital interaction across all channels, thus providing an accurate and real-time view of your customer. Siloed data. Managing data in disparate systems from increasingly varied sources makes it difficult to access and integrate data. And with Couchbase, you can easily integrate data from multiple sources or systems. With a flexible schema and familiar tools such as SQL, you can easily integrate all of your data sources. You can also migrate or synchronize data from relational systems and move data with Spark and Kafka connectors. And finally, the challenge of fast-changing customer expectations, which means that always, new unstructured types of data are going to be available and must be captured and added into your existing data models. Now, with Couchbase's flexible data model, new data types can be easily incorporated to deliver a seamless customer experience and provide the ability to serve up customer data to customer-facing employees and provide, an immediate and personalized experience. So, with Couchbase powering your Customer 360 solution, you can build omnichannel customer views easily, integrating data sources, data sets, and applications to capture the data involved at each digital interaction across every channel, delivering an accurate and real-time view of your customer. You can deliver a seamless customer experience by capturing and consolidating customer data across all interactions in real time and serve up the customer data to customer-facing employees at the point of interaction to provide immediate and personalized experiences. We can integrate data from multiple sources. Couchbase's flexible JSON storage coupled with a declarative query language, full text search, adaptive indexing, and seamless mobile sync allows you to easily integrate all of your data sources to capture and manage customer data. And finally, Couchbase allows you to easily manage customer data at scale by streamlining configuration to easily add new customer touchpoints and scale Couchbase in real time to meet user demand so data is always available for great customer engagements and 5 nines reliability. So when we look at the system context, we see that there's 4 main components here in the center of a Customer 360 solution. Your user profile. Your user profile must contain attributes that cover the most important interactions between you and them in all their life stages, agility and flexibility, and performance at scale. A session store. When you manage critical online session data in real time, you can monitor user stats, maintain security, track behavior, place ads, provide access to content, and more. Recommendations, where you query, aggregate, and provide personalized recommendations based on previous activity of the customer, and as well as your interaction history. Finally, we have captured the interaction history or the steps that led to a purchase or an action. So when we look at the reference architecture, we see the Customer 360 system, which consists of the Couchbase data platform and microservices, which interact with the platform, loading and interacting with Couchbase. To the left, we may have several data sources, which could include a mainframe, a data warehouse, web clicks, social media, or more. May also have downstream systems such as a data lake or a data warehouse. In the web tier, we have the Couchbase Sync Gateway. So the Sync Gateway is the synchronization server in a Couchbase for mobile and edge deployment. Basically, it's designed to provide data synchronization for large-scale interactive web, mobile, and IoT applications. There are also consumer web applications. With that, I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Jacob Gay.
Thank you, David, and greetings all. My name is Jacob Gay, and I'm a solutions architect at Red Hat, supporting our alliances and partnership ISV ecosystem. I'm thrilled to join you today and our friends at Couchbase to discuss Red Hat OpenShift, and most importantly, how the Red Hat OpenShift application platform is the foundation for digital transformation initiatives such as Customer 360. To thrive in the face of increasing competition, organizations must become digital leaders. Organizations that do not establish a leadership position in digital transformation risk losing market share and industry relevance, resulting in diminished financial performance, possible failure, and damage to their brand reputation. With Couchbase and Red Hat, we're combining the hybrid cloud and modern database technologies to deliver transformative solutions at enterprise scale. While IT leaders have been pursuing transformation initiatives for quite some time now, we're all familiar with it. For most of us, the need to offer innovative consumer experiences has reached critical levels recently. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic has absolutely heightened the urgency of digital transformation, as businesses were forced overnight to transition from in-person to contactless sales and services. So going forward, providing digital consumer experiences has become the only viable business model. And these changes to the business models and the technologies, they're just more than just the technology itself. To truly transform into an agile, responsive, modern organization, it requires change from both the business as well as the IT, right? To be successful, we want to be able to answer the demands for new and better applications, modernize your infrastructure and take advantage of cloud resources so you can move more quickly, make the cultural and process changes to support these new ways of working, because it doesn't really matter how amazing and efficient your apps and infrastructure are if your processes still contain the old bottlenecks and the traditional legacy manual approval processes that slow you down. But hybrid is more than just a strategy for new projects or for your future requirements for your digital transformation initiatives. It allows you to meet your current challenges and opportunities head on while positioning you for the future. If you're like most of our customers, you have a mix of new and old when it comes to the applications that you need to run your organization. Most large enterprises have huge existing application portfolios, such as David mentioned earlier, with application modernization initiatives that are built with traditional architectures, such as monolithic, in-tier applications built on traditional languages, such as Java or .NET, or maybe even C++. And we all know about those mainframes living in the basement. In addition, every one of the enterprises is building new applications or modernizing some of these existing apps on newer architectures to implement microservices, integrate with application programmable interfaces or APIs, with new languages and frameworks such as Spring, Quarkus, Node.js, and etc. And many of them are moving to integrate more intelligence and newer models into their apps with advanced analytic capability, artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities, AI, ML, and with event-driven architecture, such as the one you'll see today in our demonstration for the Customer 360 solution. But what about your development processes and methodologies? In addition to continuing to support your applications developed with traditional waterfall methodologies, you now want to implement continuous integration, continuous development processes via DevOps or SecDevOps methodologies. And you need to provide the mix of skills that you need to support these varying methodologies. And people are your most important asset, right? They need to adapt over time too, because the born-in cloud companies have changed the world by showing what they can do with these new and advanced modern approaches. And where are your apps, right? Are they in clouds, on premises, on bare metal servers, in virtual machines? Well, again, if you're like many of our customers, you may already be using multiple clouds in addition to your private cloud or data center, and very likely on bare metal and the edge. So your infrastructure platforms are already hybrid. So the question to ask is if you have an architecture that is flexible enough to support this hybrid world, and if your direction changes, are you ready to make those adjustments quickly? And this is all accomplished by optimizing your strategy around innovation at speed so that developers can transform your business regardless where your applications are deployed. As you see here, here's just two highlighted data points for these innovation impacts to your business, such as 100x cost reduction for operating infrastructure and 5x revenue growth. And we can't talk about innovation and digital transformation without focusing on the importance of security. The recent ransomware events to our supply chain even heightened it further. So security must be embedded or injected in the entire application lifecycle process. And our platform with Red Hat OpenShift is done exactly that way. And we do this by extending security beyond the infrastructure layers you see here, by shifting to the left, which is a new nomenclature for security speak, of integrating the security into your development pipeline, restricting, removing to the zero trust architectures for best practice. And we're also at Red Hat leveraging our broad ISV ecosystem by certifying technologies that will be deployed autonomously with operators so that you can have the freedom of choice to develop and deploy securely anywhere. And this is all centered around a platform that is consistent across application models, across clouds, and on-prem, and across an ecosystem of software and hardware that allows you to deliver fast and secure so that your platform is proven, ready, and secure for tomorrow's innovations. From expanding your capabilities on a single infrastructure deployment to deploying it across a mix of infrastructure targets, Red Hat OpenShift provides a single interface regardless of where it's deployed. And the same OpenShift experience is available now in two operational models if you're not aware. We've had some recent announcements with different flavors of Red Hat OpenShift. So we have managed offerings where it's delivered by Red Hat and it's partnered with leading public cloud providers that you see here on the slide, as well as the self-managed OpenShift option where you can control the operational experience, whether that's on-premise in a private cloud deployment or in the public cloud for maximum control, flexibility, and customization. And again, I mentioned this earlier with the security slide, that we can't do this alone. We embrace partnerships in this broad ecosystem of hardware and software, which gives customers freedom of choice, enabling you to access the latest networking, AI, ML hardware, and off-the-shelf software solutions to provide core capabilities such as the Couchbase database solution, runtime, as well as, and big data, just to name a few. And this is all centered around And as you know, OpenShift already includes everything you need to run a hybrid cloud, from the Kubernetes layer to platform services such as Service Mesh, the application services, the developer tools that help you make them. And if you've noticed this slide in the past, there's also 2 additional layers that have been recently added to the solution stack of Red Hat OpenShift, and that's the advanced security from the integration and acquisition of StackRox, which was recently closed and announced at our summit event, and the multi-cluster management capability for advanced cluster management via Kubernetes, allowing you to seamlessly scale from a single cluster to hundreds of clusters with integrated networking and management, which in our opinion is a truly game changer for hybrid cloud. And most importantly, the advancement of operators has changed the game for deploying these technologies into OpenShift. We simply automate the deployment and lifecycle management of containerized databases and data analytics on Red Hat OpenShift. And operators, they automate a lot of day 1 and day 2 operations such as provisioning, backup, scaling, and etc., which will help the database administrators, your SysOps team, if you're doing SRE deployments with your team, with site reliability engineers, developers. It enables them to focus on the business needs, right? The project-centric and strategic tasks, so that it makes these database technologies such as Couchbase more accessible and supported. And a variety of database and data analytic ISVs have made custom operators available on Red Hat OpenShift, and Red Hat is actively working with database and data services to ensure that operators are certified on OpenShift and that they're secure and they have frequent, regularly automated security scanning. So we've talked about Red Hat OpenShift, all the goodness that's included in the solution. We talked about our friends at Couchbase and how we've enabled them to deploy their technologies easier on the platform via operators. Now we want to sort of switch gears and talk about Red Hat Integration, which is a product portfolio of Red Hat application services. And these are just some of the services that are included in today's solution that David will be demoing here in a few moments. And so we just want to highlight a few of those solutions, and also share some of the goodness of Red Hat Integration, which it provides more complete solution for the customers and developers. And this is all accomplished with implementing event processing platform technology. So when you need to integrate to an internal or external system, you can start with capabilities related to IP management, message streaming, all the connectors you need comprehensively. And if you need to drive insight and intelligence into your applications, and even get into the world of automation as you become a digital leader, you can start with the capabilities related to decision management, resource optimization, and business process management. And definitely want to highlight the data streaming capabilities with Apache Kafka. And as you know, or may not be aware, it's a distributed system designed for streaming. So I want to leave you with this before we hand it over to David for today's super cool and exciting demonstration of a customer 360 solution, and that this is a watershed moment for all of us, right? For our company's abilities, our IT teams to quickly and securely individualize, customize customer experiences and acquire a 360-degree picture of their journey. And what's super cool and exciting about this opportunity is IT is in the unique position to champion and lead and implement this digital transition successfully. However, in order to integrate the data, the applications, the other systems via APIs, integration problems must be overcome. The aim is to increase integration speed while reducing IT resources so that you're able to integrate with cloud-native solutions hosted on hybrid cloud infrastructure with pre-built integration solutions, which in our opinion is the quickest path forward. So with the future of businesses on the line, IT has the opportunity to lead, albeit with a different mindset that's focused on innovation and scalability. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So before we move into the demo, we are going to push out this poll for you folks, if that's all right. Let's see if I can get this out there. All right. So you should see the poll coming up on your screen there. And the question we would like to ask you is, do you have the Couchbase Operator deployed in your OpenShift environment? Yes, in a production environment. Yes, in test dev environment, or no. So we will give you a few seconds there to submit your response while we get set up for this demo. All right. I see them rolling in. Thank you so much, folks. And please don't forget, if you've got questions or for David and Jacob, go ahead, submit those using the Q&A tab on your console, because we're going to try and get to as many of those as possible at the end of the presentation. All right, I'm just going to leave this up for another couple seconds. All right, and then I'm going to close this out. Thank you so much, and I'm going to hand it back over.
Thank you so much. David, back with you. So, a Customer 360 is about being able to ingest data from multiple sources and be able to aggregate that and then show a single view within Couchbase. The entire demo is going to be run on an OpenShift cluster. So let's dig in a little bit with our with our solution. We have an OpenShift cluster with a single namespace or project. Within the Customer 360 namespace, we have the Couchbase Autonomous Operator, which is used to deploy, maintain, and manage the Couchbase cluster. The Couchbase cluster consists of 3 server pods, each running the data, index, and query services. Data is stored using persistent volume. Now, all the way to the right, we have a MySQL relational database, which is pre-populated with a database and some tables. To connect Couchbase and MySQL, I use the Red Hat integration operator that's basically used to install the AMQ streams operator. Now, the AMQ streams operator is used to deploy and manage Kafka and Zookeeper, as well as Kafka Connect. Kafka Connect is deployed with the Divisium MySQL change data capture connector as a source, which acts as a Kafka producer, and with the Couchbase Kafka connector as the sink, which acts as a consumer. So, here are the solution components. The demo is performed on an OpenShift 4.6 cluster running in AWS. We have the Couchbase Operator 221 installed via the Operator Hub, along with the Couchbase Server Enterprise 662. The MySQL image used is the actual Divisium image, which is pre-populated with an example database. We're using the Red Hat integration operator 110, and also installed via the Operator Hub, and that was used to install the AMQ Streams 1.7.3 operator. Finally, we have Kafka 260 and Kafka Connect. The Kafka Connect container image was actually built by adding the Divisium MySQL connector and the Couchbase Kafka connector. Okay. So first thing we want to do, a quick tour of the OpenShift cluster. This is an AWS cluster in the US East 1 region. It was built using the OpenShift installer and installer provisioned infrastructure. One thing that I typically do for demo environments, which you would never want to do in production, is also make your masters schedulable. So if we look at our installed operators that we have here, you can see we have the Couchbase operator. All of these were installed basically into all namespaces, which is a capability of being able to install via Operator Hub. The next component that we installed was Red Hat Integration. That's actually used to create an installation, which you can install a variety of the components that Jacob had just shown you recently. Our installation installed the Red Hat integration AMQ Streams operator. And if we look at all instances, you can see that this is like cloud native Kafka. It's a smarter way of deploying and managing your Kafka environment. We have a bunch of different components. We have the My Cluster. You can see that we do have conditions warning. Well, that's because I was for a demo environment, I deployed a single Zookeeper and a single Kafka broker. Obviously in a more advanced environment, you would want to have that redundant and running on at least 3, and possibly with persistent storage instead of ephemeral storage. And we also have the My Connect cluster. And then there's an awful lot of other components within AMQ Streams will also help you manage offsets, configurations, deploy your security certificates, and manage all of this for you. So it's a more intelligent way of running Kafka. So if we look under workloads, you can see our pods. We have the 3 Couchbase server pods up and running, deployed via the Couchbase operator. We have the Kafka entity operator running. Then there's our Kafka broker, our Zookeeper node, and then the My Cluster Connect, essentially the Kafka Connect instance. Now, we also deployed MySQL because we needed to have a relational data source. So let's step over real quick and just look at our Couchbase dashboard. So as you can see, we have the 3 nodes. Each are running the data query and index node. Now, one really cool feature of just using the easy button and using OpenShift's installer provisioned infrastructure is that when I deployed into the US East 1 region, it automatically will deploy into multiple availability zones and do that automatically for you. Within Couchbase, our operator is intelligent enough to be able to read the node labeling and the failure domains, and it's just good practice to stretch your cluster across multiple availability zones to achieve your high availability needs. So within Couchbase, we also used the operator to deploy and manage a bucket. For those of you who are less familiar, a bucket within Couchbase is equivalent in the relational world to a database. We just created a staging bucket. Essentially, what we're going to do is, let's go back and take a closer look here at our MySQL instance, which we can just access via OpenShift commands. Just see, and we're going to look at the database called inventory. So we should be able to just connect directly to the MySQL instance. So just do a show tables, and then select star from customers. As you can see, this is a small data set. It's a microscopic data set, probably more accurately. We just have we have 4 entries in here. And so, standard stuff here. So let's go back here and shift gears just a little bit to look at our Kafka Connect. Essentially, I created a route for my Kafka Connect API. And if we click on the route here, you can see that we show the version of Kafka, the commits, and the Kafka cluster ID that are available. And so we can also look and see what connectors we have available by just adding the / connectors to the end of it. And as you can see, we have a plus. We have an empty bracket, so we haven't configured any of the connectors yet. So let's go ahead and do so. We can do this because I've exposed a public route to the cluster. I could do this via a simple curl command, or you can configure this through through your AMQ Streams operator. Okay. So let's go ahead and post the curl command. Okay, now let's go back and check and make sure that this was accepted. So you can see we have the inventory connector. Essentially what I did, we connected to the database, which is called inventory, which has a number of different tables within it. So where the magic is going to happen here is that we're going to also configure the Couchbase connector. So you can see, you know, within the configuration, we have a few different parameters. You know, we have a certain Kafka topic that we're going to listen to, a couple of standard connection timeouts. We want to pass along credentials for Couchbase. We have a key converter, which we're just going to convert that to strings, and a value converter, which is going to use the simple JSON converter. So this is not you know, super intelligent. It's going to basically dump the raw Kafka data, but using a JSON converter for values makes it super easy to dump that directly into Couchbase. Okay. Okay, and as soon as we've done that, we can go over here and verify that the connector was accepted. Yes, we have the customer sync, and then we have the Couchbase. Okay, and as you can see, we have 4 items. We had 4 items in our source table. We have 4 items in our destination table now. So let's look into our staging bucket to look at some of the data, see what it looks like. You know, a lot of this information is just raw Kafka data that's in there. As you can see, we have multiple fields. We want to kind of scroll down through here and look a little bit closer, which you can basically see, which would have been the source tables within the MySQL. You can see after the payload, we can see the actual fields that were in the relational database. You know, last name, ID, first name, and last name. So in order to query anything within Couchbase, we require at least a primary index. More experienced customers tend to have flexible indexes based on their data query patterns. So let's just create a primary index here. Okay. So JSON. Okay. So let's look and see what we have. So all we're going to do is traverse the JSON path, which is basically I think we had payload and after were the nested fields. Let's go ahead and execute our query. So you can see that we have essentially the same data that we had on the relational side. And within our query workbench, another cool thing is that we can also change the view for ourselves if you're working in this to a table view. So let's go back here. That looks essentially equivalent here. All goodness that we can dump directly in. So let's see. Let's kind of test the change data capture. This should capture any mutations within the source data, and then also be able to update back into Couchbase. So let's update a record. So instead, let's see, back here. So we can see Anne's first name. Let's change that to Anne Marie. Okay, so you can see that we have our queries were run. We changed one record. Let's go back here. And so let's rerun execute our query. That was almost immediate. We have we've changed the name from Anne to Anne Marie. Immediate changes, great way to keep your data in sync. Okay, and finally, hey, let's go ahead and update or insert some additional records and make sure that they're propagated. Okay, so we just inserted a number of different records, execute our query, and yes, all immediately available. So, this was a way of showing you one of the components, a great starting point, but also letting you know kind of the art of the possible as far as, a starting point for aggregating a bunch of disparate data sources into a single Couchbase environment. You probably have several other, several other data sources. There's several techniques that you can use to get data in and out of Couchbase, either using off-the-shelf, included components, our software development kits. In addition to the Kafka, our Kafka connector, we also have Spark connectors and a number of other, a number of other tools to help you manage your environment. So that is the demo. One more slide is kind of some additional resources. We have our own solution page on Couchbase. It's couchbase.com/solutions, and it'll show you the four main Couchbase solutions that we have: Customer 360, Catalog and Inventory, Field Service, and IoT Data Management. We have some customer success stories up there, and documents further, more of a double click on some of the information that we've been able to discuss today. We have a Customer 360 blog. This is essentially the same mechanically steps that I took today, but running on on Docker on your own laptop, so you can kind of play with this yourself. And then we have a Couchbase Customer 360 tutorial, which even takes this a couple of steps further. Okay, the Debezium OpenShift example. You can look on the Debezium website. A lot of similar information, and also the Red Hat integration documentation, which, among other things, tells you how to be able to build, like what I did, build your own Docker image, including third-party connectors for Kafka. So with that, I'd like to turn it over, back over to our hosts and for Q&A.
All right. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Okay, so we got a couple questions here. The first one, can I deploy Couchbase on IBM Cloud?
We do not officially support or certify with the IBM's own Kubernetes stack. However, if you wanted to deploy Couchbase on IBM Cloud prominently features OpenShift there. So deploying Couchbase on OpenShift within IBM Cloud, fully supported, runs beautifully.
Okay. And do you have customers running Couchbase on OpenShift in production?
We do have several customers running on OpenShift in production. One very public-facing customer, a joint customer between us and Red Hat, is Amadeus, who has spoken publicly at both Red Hat Summit and at our own Couchbase Connect events on how their digital transformation journey went from legacy systems to almost infinitely scalable solutions. Among others, we also have the underlying technology, which is our Couchbase Autonomous Operator, is also runs on vanilla Kubernetes components, as well as our cloud service providers. But it's also the underlying technology for our database as a service offering, which is Couchbase Cloud. And so, among all of these, we have more than 100 plus customers utilizing the Couchbase operator, which is the underlying technology.
Okay. All right, folks, if you've still got questions, we still have plenty of time left. Go ahead and shoot those over using the Q&A tab on your console while we wait to see if anybody else has any questions they want to ask us. I'm going to go ahead and announce the winners for our Amazon gift card drawing. Our first winner today is Manu S. Congratulations to you. Our next winner is Paul B. Congratulations. Our third winner today is Jeff L. And our last winner is Dave B. All right, folks, last chance for questions. Going once, going twice. All right. Well, with that, thank you so much to Jacob and David for the amazing presentation and that demo. We're going to leave this resource slide up here. And folks, please know we are going to send out the slides as a PDF, so you'll be able to have all this information right at your fingertips. Keep an eye out for that. And remember, the session has been recorded, so you'll be able to go back and watch it again. We'll send you an email with instructions for accessing the webinar on demand. And for our gift card winners, we will send you an email with instructions for claiming your gift card. So keep a close eye on your inbox for all of those emails. If you don't see them there, please check your spam folders. All right. With that, thank you so much again to David and Jacob, and thank you to our audience for spending your time with us this afternoon. I am Sharon Florentine, signing off.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.